If your clients expect access to you at all hours, ask for endless revisions, and leave you feeling drained instead of paid, then this episode is for you. Today, we're talking about client boundaries that protect your peace, sharpen your professionalism, and help you build a business that doesn't burn you out. Hey friends, welcome back to the Jameela Adams Experience. This month's theme is intentional boundaries, and honestly, I can't think of a better place to begin than with something that touches almost every entrepreneur, coach, consultant, and creative at one point in their journey. Client boundaries that save your sanity. Now, before everybody gets nervous, let me say this. Boundaries are not about becoming rude, cold, difficult, or unavailable. They're not about building a wall between you and the people that you serve. Boundaries are about creating a healthy structure. They protect your time, your peace, your energy, and most of all, your capacity, while still allowing you to deliver excellent service and show up with integrity. Because the truth is, burnout is not a business strategy. Exhaustion is not proof that you care. And being constantly accessible does not mean the same as being valuable. So if you ever find yourself answering messages late at night, squeezing in one more revision you never planned for, or feeling a little resentment towards your clients that you genuinely want to serve, this conversation is for you. So let's get into it. Let's be real for a second. A lot of entrepreneurs start their businesses because they want freedom away from the corporate machine and or the 9 to 5. They want the freedom over their schedule, their income, freedom to build something that is meaningful and sustainable on their own terms. I sure did when I wanted to become an entrepreneur. So somewhere along the way, though, that freedom can quickly and quietly turn into overexhaustion. Suddenly, you're answering emails at dinner, checking your phone before you go to bed, and taking calls on the weekends. Come on now, who does that? Anyway, saying yes to every extra request, you just feel like you don't want to disappoint anyone. So that's why you keep doing it. And plus, you don't want to risk losing a paying client. But let's be honest. When you're building something you care about, it can feel easy to justify these actions because you tell yourself, once I get a little bit ahead, I will set structure. I will put boundaries in place. But until then, this is what I got to do in my mind to keep a client. We've all been there. The issue isn't with the client being impossible. And I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. It's the issue that expectations were never made clear from the beginning. So when you don't go in with a set boundary on what you do and how you do it, this is what happens. So what starts off as flexibility can easily become access without limits. People generally respect boundaries and standards that we consistently enforce. We have to kind of tap them on the hand and say, we're not doing that. So if we train clients to expect instant responses, unlimited add-ons, and access to us at all times, they often assume that that's the norm when working with us. And that's not always the case. But this is what we built with them. So if you start off as someone who is a habitual line stepper, it's because you didn't set the expectations in the beginning. So how can we, move back from that? How can we course correct? So a lot of people think that boundaries create friction, and they assume that if they become more structured, clients will see them as difficult, rigid, or inflexible. I actually believe the opposite is true. Boundaries create clarity, and clarity is one of the most powerful forms of customer service you can ever offer. When you have a set of guidelines on how to work with you, people respect that. So how do you do that? Okay. How to contact you is one of the ways that you can set a boundary. And any type of communication channel that you actually monitor is how you can set up a boundary. Another way is when to expect a response from you. And that could be 24 hours, or you can expect a call from me on Tuesday if that's how your office time works or your office hours work. Okay. The other thing you have to remember is setting up boundaries is what services are included in what you agree to. Okay, we don't want scope creep, and it happens, and you kind of get because you're thinking, how did I let this get this far? I only said we're only doing this, and now I'm doing a 20-page project. Not good. But you see what I'm saying? If you don't set the boundary from the get-go, this is what happens. Another thing too is what requests are considered additional work, and you can build them separately. When you have these boundaries in place, everyone wins. So here's from the beginning, a way to contact you, when to expect a response, what services have you agreed to, and what additional services can be added later at an additional charge. So this way there's less confusion, less frustration, and far fewer unspoken assumptions, because you know what they say about assume. Anyway, projects move more smoothly, communication feels more professional, and you spend less time reacting and more time delivering great work. So let me say this too. Boundaries can actually increase client trust. When you communicate clearly and operate consistently, people that experience you, they see that you're organized, you're confident, and reliable. And that's good for your brand, and that's good for your peace. One of my favorite boundary reminders is this. And if you need to pause this episode and write it down, please do come back to it, because I definitely want you to sit with this for a second. Being helpful does not require being available at all times. So let that sit for a second, okay? Your value does not increase because you're answering messages at midnight, replying within 5 minutes, or bending your processes every time someone asks for something unexpected. So your value comes from expertise, your wisdom, and the results that you provide. Also the experiences that you deliver. So that's where your value comes from, your expertise, your wisdom, and the results that you provide. So when it comes to quality of your service, it's not the speed of your self-abandonment. Sit with that for a second. Sometimes the most professional thing you can do is this. I'll be happy to help you with that. Here's what I require from you. Or that falls outside of our current agreement, but I will absolutely add this on as an additional service. See, that's not bad customer service. It's building a healthy relationship. So let's get practical, shall we? Here are a few simple boundaries you can actually start putting in today if you want to feel more sustainable in your business and feel a little less chaotic. First and foremost, office hours. These let clients know the days and times you're available for communication and project work. Okay. I personally have mine office hours not only on my website, but on my, Google search. So if you want to see the hours I work, go ahead and check those out. Plug. Anyway, the other thing too is the response time expectations. You tell people whether they can expect a reply within 24 hours, 48 hours, or another set time frame. But at least it lets people know when they should expect to hear from you. The other thing too is client communication policies. Decide whether communications happen by email, a project portal, scheduled calls, or any other primary method. And there's so many out there to choose from. And be honest with you, I'm in the process of shopping a new one myself. So anyway, the next thing is revision limits. As a service provider that does websites, yes, revision limits. Okay. Be clear about how many rounds of revisions are included before additional fees apply. Okay. And the other thing too is scope of work guidelines. This is defined by what is and what isn't included in your current agreement. And if there's any extra requests, you got to pay for it. So that's one thing. The next thing is payment policies. Okay, we got to learn about how to accept payments. So communicate deposit requirements, due dates, late fees, and what happens if the payment is delayed. And you got to put that in writing because a lot of people let it go over their heads sometimes. So please, whatever you do, put your payment policies in writing and make sure that whenever the contract is signed, they know exactly what to expect. So here's the thing. None of these changes have to be dramatic to be effective. Small adjustments can create a massive relief. Trust me. One sentence in your onboarding email, one paragraph in your contract, or one clear policy on your website can change the entire tone of your client experience. And if setting boundaries feels uncomfortable at first, which they do because you've been freewheeling all the time, so now you got to reel it in and put some boundaries up. So that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. I'll put it to you like that. It feels uncomfortable, but it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It just simply means that you're learning how to honor your own capacity, and you're really putting yourself first in this instance. And that's something we all need to do when it comes to our business and who we serve. So that discomfort that you have, that little sting that you have, trust me, it'll fade with practice. So as we begin the Intentional Boundaries series, I want you to remember something that matters, really matters, okay? Your peace matters. Your time matters. And I really want you to just feel that because sometimes we let others dictate our flow. And I know I've said that in the past. Don't allow that to happen because remember, they hired you for your expertise, your wisdom, and your experience. But don't, turn it around so that they, your clients can say, I want you to do this, I want you to do that, because neither one of you are going to win at that point. The whole thing is that the business that you're building should support your life, not take over it. And success that costs you all your peace is simply way too expensive. So this week, I want to challenge you, because we don't leave out of here without one. Choose one boundary you need to put into place, okay? Just one, not 10, just one. One clear expectation, one policy, one conversation, one protective decision that reminds you that you are allowed to lead your business with excellence and self-respect. So until next week, I want you to be inspired, be inspiring, be encouraged, be encouraging. But most of all, I want you to be you and keep setting boundaries, or if you haven't, start now. And I'll check you out next week. Take care.